song. Let's sing it. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Come on, it's gonna be fucking awesome. You know the words. It's gonna be fucking awesome. That's it, say. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Yeah!
Yo, what up, Coolest Geeks? It's me, Jesse Blaze Snyder, the Coolest Geek Alive. How you guys doing? I am here with another Coolest pick. I try to put a little light on movies that have come out in like the past 20 years. It's funny just because like classics are easy to talk about. We end up talking about them over and over again. But things in the past 20 years, there's plenty of things that like slip underneath the radar. There's so many movies are made and things that come out, come and go. And it's really easy to miss great shit. And, while often my focus is on things that I would consider ultimately geek culture stuff, I like to break free from that sometimes and talk about things that I just think are great. And this one's an interesting one because it's one of those movies that I just think is great, but it does have a really awesome geek culture connection that I think is important because I'm really happy to know this because basically I don't like assholes and I don't want to support people who are pieces of shit. And according to the film and the book, Molly's Game, and plenty of other little anecdotes, Tobey Maguire, the first Spider-Man, is a real piece of shit. And I think everybody should see this movie so they can know what a piece of shit he is. And also, because the fucking movie's great. There's a writer who has become kind of a little bit of a controversial figure sometimes because he's one of those people who friggin' speaks out about his political views and all these things, and that can color the way people view his material. And that is Aaron Sorkin. But this movie does not have any political anything that bothered me, rubbed me wrong in one way or another. It is about this character, Molly Bloom, who was running an underground, kind of sort of at sometimes illegal gambling operation for poker for these rich, elite people. And man, it's just such a great movie. It's so well written. She's such an interesting character. There's a great cast with just like a lot of different characters and personalities and awesome performances. The main character, Molly, is played by Jessica Chastain, and she's great, man. She's beautiful, and I really like her as a leading lady. She's really solid. The character, you will meet her, at the beginning of the movie, Molly Bloom. She was a former competitive skier, and she had a really rough injury that forced her to go somewhere else. But she was a really smart woman, and she figured out a path for herself, kind of oddly, where she ended up running these crazy high stakes poker games. And you watch her story, and you also see it you see it from multiple sort of time points because she's being, or she gets arrested, kind of thing. And brought up on major charges, and she goes after this really big deal lawyer, and she's having a hard time getting the big deal lawyer to take her case on because he thinks that she's a scumbag. And basically, and I don't want to. This will be like kind of one spoiler of the movie. It's sort of like the movie. And the lawyer, the audience kind of goes along with her trying to determine if she is a scumbag, like a lot of the fucking scumbags that she was dealing with in this world. And in this world, one of the scumbags she was dealing with pretty good was Tobey Maguire. And in the movie, he's played by Michael Cera, the George Michael from Arrested Development and dude from Superbad. And oh man, you fucking hate Tobey Maguire. And as I figured out, I don't remember exactly how I figured out what celebrity it was, or if I went online to figure it out after I watched the movie, because I was very intrigued by this piece of shit who was just, it's just like everything that you don't want in a person, some celebrity, and all of a sudden they think that they're better than you, like they're better than normal people because they have money, and just like treating people just really fucked up, playing poker in a really scumbag type way. I'll go through some of friggin' Toby's stupidity in a little bit. But first, let me just talk about the movie and the amazing cast and everything awesome about it. Because I mean, really, the Tobey Maguire thing. It was like fucking A bonus. I'm so glad that I know that dude's a piece of shit, because I don't want to fucking support this guy, this type of behavior. You know, people shouldn't be going out into the world behaving like this. You know, my father's a celebrity. I've been, you know, scrutinized by the people many times before. You know, watched my dad worry about, oh, if I don't tip enough, I might end up on like a website and stuff, you know. And I mean, that's some good shit. You know, that's good. That's good. Keep these fucking people in check and keep them grounded to the ground and keep them realizing that, you know, the spread the wealth around and be kind. And you have a power when you're a celebrity, and you can't be lording it over everybody, which is what fucking Tobey Maguire does. But you got Jessica Chastain as Molly Bloom. She's amazing. And then you got Idris Elba as her lawyer, her high-powered lawyer. And there's a really cool story. And I hope that everything in this movie is true, because I love her character, and I love the way she earns the respect of this lawyer, as the lawyer slowly figures out that, you know, she would be in a much better position if she had sold out all of the celebrities who she had ever had play at any of her games, all of the rich and powerful people. And she worked very hard to protect all those people. She basically felt like, you know, nobody really had done anything wrong, even though some of them had done things, you know, and said things or whatever else that could really hurt their families. You know, there were things that could break up families, and text messages, you know, people hitting on her or whatever. And she's like, I don't want to be a part to ruining anybody's life. You know, and the quality of a person that this Molly Bloom really is, if all these things are true, that she only names 4 celebrities in her book, and she only got $30,000 in the movie. They say that she only got $30,000. She's being offered $1.5 million to basically name all the names. And the 4 names that she named, they had already been leaked through another means, and that was the only reason why she included them, because somebody had already mentioned them. So since they were already mentioned, she talked about those 4. And I'll get into those in just a little bit. Only one of them, I believe, shows up in the movie in any real way. But he's the only one that really deserves to be put on blast. Everybody else, it would appear, was largely cool and you know, just low key, and was playing poker and whatever. But Tobey was a piece of crap. Oh, the other 3, by the way, that she does mention is Ben Affleck and Matt Damon and Leonardo DiCaprio. And Leonardo DiCaprio is pretty famously friends with Tobey Maguire, and Matt and Ben are famously friends. And all of them are you know, considered kind of low key and kind, except for Tobey. And we'll get into some of his things later. So, in a relatively small part that you largely see in flashbacks until the very end, and again, this is like minor spoiler, but not really, is Molly Bloom's dad. And Molly Bloom's dad, you just see him in little bits and pieces where he's coaching his daughter and really, you know, pushing her and getting her, you know, molding the person that she's going to be, really making her live up to a high standard. And it's kind of wonderful. And there's this great moment at the end where he comes into the present and connects with his daughter to talk to her at a very pivotal time. And they do this great thing where, you know, he's like, let's do 40 years of therapy in 4 minutes. And it's really great. The movie's so well written, and it's so powerful. All the things that he says, and you know, just that despite what a shitty dad he was on a few important levels, his other 2 kids and her are fucking impressive. They're impressive people. They've done incredible things. Say what you will about my parenting, but look at my kids. And it's so cool because it makes me want to cry. It's nice. You spend the whole movie getting to see what a rich person, you know, Molly Bloom is. She's a good egg, and she's smart, and she's inventive, and she doesn't take no for an answer, and she goes through a hell of a lot. She is a stand-up gal, you know. She's she's worthy. She's a worthy person, and she's being implicated in this like crime, like, you know, the implication of being arrested by the fucking FBI and everything is that you know, you're a criminal. And she's awesome. Like I said, I really hope that the book and the movie are kind of accurate to the character, because what a cool character she really is. What a cool role model she is to so many people, and just her bravery and her just trying to find the right words. I'm still recovering from my tooth getting pulled the other day, and been a little bit not myself with finding the right word. But just an enterprising young lady who is capable, so capable, even capable of getting the craziest, most high-powered lawyer to take her case on when she can't afford to pay him anything because her money's been seized by the government, but that's the lawyer she wants, and she's going to figure out how to get it. Just so great. So great. And Kevin Costner's little bit part, just playing her dad, he's amazing. And their interactions are really amazing, from when she's younger to then that great scene. It's just one scene between the two of them later in the movie. And I mean, it is just so well written, you know. I'm a writer. I'm a comic book writer. I mean, but I write everything. I've written, you know, films and short films and plays, and, you know, I've written every single sort of thing. So, you know, I know how to write well. You know, writing is the thing that I care most about, and then I'm always trying to, you know, demonstrate that I'm so capable. You know, I'm a meticulous Virgo. Really care about the details. Really care about good writing. Aaron Sorkin is a great writer, man. He really is. And you know, if you can put aside any political bullshit that you might have heard him say yesterday or today, you know, this movie doesn't have any of that. And it's just contained in this world of high-stakes poker. And the character of Molly Bloom is such a fucking great character. And even her lawyer is such a great character. And Tobey Maguire is a great bad guy. And there's tons of other sort of minor bad guys within the movie. There's a dude named Jeremy Strong, who plays Dean Keith, who's like her first boss, who kind of gets her into this whole scenario. And he's a piece of crap. And then there's just so many different, like, rich elite people of various degrees, or people who are employees to various rich elite companies coming into these high-stake games, you know, trying to get in here and, you know, make all this money. And there's lots of money exchanging hands, and, you know, eventually, you know, you get mafioso, you know, sort of people involved. And it really is a great story. There's a huge cast of, you know, more people like that Jeremy guy, who, like, you would recognize maybe from some, you'd be like, I know him from something, but he's not famous enough that you'd be like, oh, dude, that's Jeremy. Like, I don't remember that guy's name. But it's a great cast. Tons and tons of really, really great character actors in great bit parts. Filling in for various rich elites and celebrities and whatnot in the film. I don't believe that Matt Damon or Ben Affleck or Leonardo DiCaprio show up in any way, shape, or form as, you know, characters in this film. But Tobey Maguire does, like I said, played by Michael Cera. And I think without further ado, I'm going to talk a little bit about him and what it was like at, you know, these games for him. And I mean, granted, you want to go see the movie, you can see a little bit of this in there, but there's a couple things that didn't make it into the movie, and general, you know, pieces of, you know, his the way he moves through the world that are fucking interesting and despicable. You know, and first to say, you know, Leonardo DiCaprio, you know, he was described as a more casual player, and, you know, he occasionally attended the games, and, you know, he's pretty low key, not really aggressive, you know, just coming down to have some fun playing some poker. Ben Affleck was noted to be a really good poker player, but with a real calm demeanor and very respectful and polite, you know, to other people who were participating, even though he was winning a lot. You know, and Matt Damon was a little bit more like in passing, you know, kind of, I guess, coming along with Ben kind of thing. He was a little bit less involved, but you know, but a lot less specific stories about him. You know, he wasn't making a huge impression. He was going in there pretty low key. However, Tobey Maguire was a regular and significant player in Bloom's game. Eventually, you know, she had basically, in the movie, you'll see she has a decent, like, kind of works some things out with him to help the game continue, and he is lording it over her head and trying to really like screw her over, and like, you know, I think he's basically trying to fuck her the whole time, and she never has sex with any of these guys. So he's described as a ruthless player, known for his competitive nature. In the movie, he has a line, I won't give it away, but he says something to the effect of that, you know, he doesn't like playing poker. He just likes destroying people. And, you know, that's basically the way he's portrayed in the movie. And also from the excerpts of the book and things that I could read, that's basically how he is portrayed in the book as well. You know, Maguire had like a quirky side, and he tried to humiliate her. This isn't in the movie, but one time he tried to humiliate her by offering her $1,000 chip to bark like a seal. So this is the level Tobey Maguire's at. He's like, oh, I'm going to make this beautiful woman here bark like a seal. You know, he's also known for being a shitty tipper, you know, despite winning huge sums of money. You know, he'd tip Molly Bloom like $100 on a $20,000 pot, you know, on purpose, you know, showcasing his lack of generosity. There's tons of people, all these rich people, you know, that's constantly the thing. She'd be making so much money because she's getting huge tips from these people who are making huge sums of money, and it's like no big deal for a huge tip. But Toby's like, here's $100 for your trouble, babe. Maguire was also accused of manipulating the games in a lot of ways to his advantage, you know, sometimes insisting on changes to the rules or changes to the stakes that would favor himself, you know, leveraging his celebrity status and skills to intimidate other players and maintain an upper hand. So he's a shitbag who, you know, has to manipulate the game to make sure he wins, as opposed to winning because he's so fucking good at it. And like I said, he's a super aggressive player and considered a pretty formidable opponent, but he was known for just being highly focused and often using, I guess you'd call it psychological tactics, you know, to unnerve the other players at the table. In the movie, you see him pulling one of these things where he's just like sort of like intimidating a guy into thinking he's got a good hand, and then, you know, 2 seconds later, it's revealed, I don't have a good hand. I fucking played you because I'm a fucking actor. Fuck you. Ha ha ha. I use the fact that I'm a celebrity to make you fold. Yeah, this movie's going to make you hate Tobey Maguire. And I mean, I've definitely heard enough things prior that like he kind of maybe sucked. And like this movie was the final nail in the coffin for me. Tobey Maguire sucks. If we're going to continue with Spider-Man, let's do some Andrew Garfield stuff because fuck Tobey. He's clearly, this fame shit has gone to his head. I'm not into it. And then also excluding players. There's a bit where, you know, he tries to exclude another player from the game because he felt they weren't skilled enough and they were slowing the pace of the play. So he wasn't hesitating to, you know, influence the shape of the player pool and get people out of there that weren't to his liking. You know, and there's been tons of articles, you know, in Vulture. They delved into Maguire's reputation in the poker world as being a shark, you know, who was highly skilled and ruthless in his approach to winning. And known for, you know, just using all sorts of different tactics like that. Like, you know, I just described, you know, a terrible bluff, but it works because he's this actor boldly pressing up against some asshole who's not a celebrity to get an edge in the game. And, you know, usually to the detriment of the other players. And, you know, TMZ and the other tabloids, you know, have, they've reported on his poker antics. Same thing, you know, competitive nature, controversy. So it's not just Molly Bloom who's talking about this. You know, this is multiple sources talking about the same thing. He's a poker guy. He's a card shark. He's not really a good guy. He doesn't really have a lot of moral scruples when it comes to poker. He's out for blood. Yeah, unkind is like, you know, a good word. He's just, you know, he's a dick. More Vanity Fair, or is that Vanity Fair? There's Vulture. Yeah, Vanity Fair had some coverage of him as well. So I went and did a whole bunch of notes of this beforehand so I could pass on, because I was like, I just want to make sure before I start shit talking, because I did look into it at the time when I saw the movie. I was like, fuck, but I just wanted to find as many sources that said the same thing as possible. So Vanity Fair had some additional details about his behavior. They described someone who could be curt and dismissive, when it came to dealing with people he viewed as beneath him or less skilled. And that's definitely the thing, like the beneath him thing. You get that from a lot of places, like he's Tobey Maguire and you're beneath him, which I think is a little guy complex, and I think it's a ugly guy complex, because Toby's not the most, like he's friends with Leonardo DiCaprio. Leonardo DiCaprio is like the most attractive guy in the world. Tobey Maguire's not. And I think he's got like a chip on his shoulder about this shit. And like he's taking it out on people in the poker world. That's my read. Comedian Dax Shepard, who I like a lot, really like Dax Shepard. He said that he basically, forgive me, on an episode of the Armchair Expert, he basically recalled interacting with Maguire and said he found him to be really mean. You know, he said he was dismissive and unkind during a casual conversation, and it just completely reinforced the perception for him that Maguire was an abrasive person. And, you know, Jessica Chastain, in her interview, she was the actress, you know, who played the main character, you know, commented on the story, you know, kind of indirectly referencing Maguire's behavior as a reflection of the dark side of high-stakes poker. You know, these are really ruthless people in this world who are going to play poker, and some of them don't have the best of intentions. You know, but I mean, of course, on-set behavior, it's relatively small in the reports, but, you know, he definitely comes off as a bit of a diva. There was some talk that Sam Raimi had some trouble with him during Spider-Man 2, which was maybe a little bit understandable because he had hurt his back doing a movie called Seabiscuit, which is a decent movie if you ever want to watch it. It was about horseback racing, based on a true story, and he was in the movie. He's a good actor, but you know, fuck him. He's a douchebag. And there was a moment where the studio was thinking about replacing him with Jack Gyllenhaal because he was like using the injury as an excuse to, you know, just be kind of bossy and be a diva and try to like control things. You know, there was a big lawsuit, you know, with the whole thing, with the poker ring, you know, and he did get named because there was a certain amount of funds that got embezzled that he was like, you know, had won off this guy, and those funds, you know, were supposed to go to other people. But I mean, you know, that's just him playing the ball. I mean, like him playing poker is like no big deal. It's like, you know, it's like it's stupid that it's illegal. Everybody, if you want to play poker and you want to go fucking do something by yourself, like that, no government agency should be able to stop that from happening. I don't believe in that sort of infringement on our rights. However, you're gonna be an asshole. Fuck you. And then, you know, personal relationships. You know, this guy's, you know, he's. The rumors have been that he's not exactly the easiest to deal with. He divorced his person in, I think, 2016 that he was going out with for a while, Jennifer Meyer, who was saying he's pretty intense. Granted, he seems like he might be pretty intense from all of the acting and, you know, all of his parts and shit that you put in. But no excuse for bad behavior, being a douche. And, you know, it was like this great little Easter egg that I got to watch Molly's Game, and I'm seeing this movie, and I'm like, fuck, what a great movie. It's so well written. And then at a certain point, I'm like, who is this fucking asshole? And then I look him up, I'm like, it's fucking Spider-Man? Spider-Man's the asshole? I mean, like, it's just so disappointing. You know, we have all these mythology, the mythology of all these characters that matter so much to us, and to have the actor portraying the character that we imprint upon them all of this great power and responsibility, and then he goes out into the world with all his power and responsibility, and he abuses it. Toby, with great power comes great responsibility. What are you doing? You're fucking abusing your power, you piece of shit. So I really wanted to talk about what a piece of shit Tobey Maguire was. Because I don't like it, man. I don't like when people go out into the world and they treat other people like they're below them. At the end of the day, we're all one. We're all equal. You are my equal. You know, it's like I've done a lot of things. Toby's done a lot of things. You know, I've been a voiceover actor, and I've written a lot of comic books, and I've had some success in music. I've had success in voiceover acting. This does not mean I am above you. This does not mean I'm above anybody. You know, you can do anything I can do if you put in the same effort that I put in. You know, if you train yourself to do a thing, I believe that you could get to the level that I'm at. I believe that you get to the level that Toby's at. And because of your potential, that makes you my equal. You know, we all have the potential for greatness. And, you know, my dad used to tell me, you know, careful who you're mean to on the way up, because you might meet them again on the way down. And I don't think that's a good reason to be fucking, you know, be nice to people. But, you know, I don't think that was totally what he was getting at. He was, you know, getting at, you know, that it's important to be nice to the perceived little guys, because the little guys might not be the little guys for long, and you may find yourself in that position by society deemed a little guy sometime in the future. And if you're nice to those little guys, perhaps they'll be nice to you later. And, certainly that is true. But, I think it's just the right thing to do, is to treat everybody like they have the potential to do anything that you ever did, and be encouraging in that way. You're a testament to the possibilities. There are possibilities in this world, and you represent the chance for those things to happen. And you can be a beacon of light, like it says in the "You Can't Stop and Roll" rock and roll song. You can light the way. You can run and hide, or you can light the way. And lighting the way is the way. This is the way. The way is to light the way for other people. And, for somebody who spent 3 movies dealing with the concept of with great power comes great responsibility, for that motherfucker to go out into the world and use their power to lord it over other people, to try to get a fucking, pretty cocktail waitress who's running the poker game to freaking bark like a seal. Like, fuck you, man. Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. Like, seriously, fuck that guy. I hope he never works again. Really. Like, it's just ridiculous. Ridiculous. Go do something else. I said, it's awful. I hope you lose a lot in poker. Like shit, man. I mean, I shouldn't, I don't hope this. I don't need to hope this. The karma will get you. The energy, what goes up comes down. And this motherfucker will get his. But seriously, I was just so glad to see him put on blast in such a great way. Because it's just such a hypocritical thing. And when you take on these superhero roles and these things, it kind of is a moment where you have to click up and upgrade who you are, and maybe become somebody else, a more heroic version of yourself. And it's clear that Tobey didn't do that. Tobey's gotten bitter and sour, and he's a dick in these poker games, and that sucks. So watch this movie. The least of which to see that Tobey Maguire is a piece of shit, as played by Michael Cera, who does a great job. But really watch this movie because it is so well written by Aaron Sorkin, so well acted by Jessica Chastain, and the rest of the cast. Idris Elba is just amazing, and Kevin Costner in his role as her dad. He's barely in it, but the scenes that he's in, I mean, he fucking steals them, man. I mean, it's great. It's really great. The scene that he shows up in at the end. The scenes between him and the main character, Molly, and Idris Elba are great. Idris Elba is one of my favorite actors. I love Idris Elba. And Jessica Chastain in this movie, she really made me like her. I'd see anything with her in it now. I feel like she's a leading lady. She did such an awesome job. And fuck, man, I've watched a decent amount of Aaron Sorkin material. I gotta watch more. He is so fucking good. I think I was watching the show with was it Jeff Bridges? Not Jeff Bridges. Dumb and Dumber. Jeff Daniels. Newsweek or something like that. I watched a little bit of that show, and that was really well written. Granted, political and certainly has a skewed angle into which it's writing from. But he's so good. His writing is so quality. I'll deal with it for just the ability to see some really concise writing going on. Anyway, without further ado, I'm going to wrap this thing up. Oh, and by the way, Aaron Sorkin directed this as well. So it's not just written by him, but he directed it too. And it's very well directed, well edited, paced, like everything about it I love. I really think it is a fucking great movie. There are movies where the concepts and the things that it's about matter more to me than this movie. So it's not, going to disrupt my top 100 movies per se. But I don't know, man. Towards the end of my top 100, I could see this maybe fitting in there because it is so fucking good. It really is. It's just so well done. So, yeah, if you get a moment this weekend, I think it's free on Netflix. I think that's where I watched it. I've seen it before at another time, whether I rented it or whatever. But I think it's on Netflix right now for free if you're in America. So if you can find it on your thing or rent it, I really highly recommend Molly's Game. Anyway, please join me again next Saturday for another one of these awesome Coolest Picks or Coolest Classics. And this coming Wednesday for another fucking awesome episode of the Coolest Geek Alive. Love you guys. Care Bear Stare. Peace.
You've been listening to Coolest Geek Alive with me, your host, Jesse Blaze Snyder. Don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe for more excellent geek culture content. Thanks for listening.
It's my favorite part! Isn't that heavy? I'll play that! It's gonna be fucking awesome! Coolest alive! It's gonna be fucking awesome! Stay with your tribe! It's gonna be fucking awesome! Revenge of the Geeks! It's gonna be fucking awesome! Week after weeks! It's gonna be fucking awesome! Laughing with you! It's gonna be fucking awesome! And crying sometimes too! It's gonna be fucking awesome! Spelling it out! It's gonna be fucking awesome! Making you shout! I'm a genius! I got lyrics coming out me bum for days! You like that? It's a kazoo solo! I played that too! It's gonna be fucking awesome! Talking some shit! It's gonna be fucking awesome! Living the shit! My voice is fucking awesome! Food in our mouth! It's gonna be fucking awesome! Get in the mouth! It's gonna be fucking awesome! Tell all your friends! It's gonna be fucking awesome! Call right on text! It's gonna be fucking awesome! Raising the bar! It's gonna be fucking awesome! Straight to the stars! It's gonna be fucking awesome! It's starting soon! Straight to the top of the awesome! Passing the moon! It's gonna be fucking awesome! On with the show! It's gonna be fucking awesome! Ready, set, go! It's gonna be fucking awesome! Fucking awesome! It's gonna be fucking awesome! Just wait! You'll see! You'll all see! You'll all see.